Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar. This is a collaboration between FJMCAANA and some of our graduates from Fatma Jinnah Medical University who recently matched and are going to be starting their residency this year, inshallah ta'ala. So we wanted to get them together to get some tips and education on how to, be able to secure a residency position. Before I start, I'm also going to give a brief history of FJMCAANA and a brief overview. So basically, I don't know if I should continue speaking in English or Urdu, or both things are okay, Dr. Fiza?
Both are fine.
Both are fine. चलें ठीक है, चलें फिर हम अपनी ज़बान में ही बात करते हैं. तो briefly FJMCAANA जो है is your alumni in North America. So it stands for Fatma Jinnah Medical College Alumni Association of North America. So it includes both practicing physicians in America and also Canada. Personally मैं अपना थोड़ा सा introduction दे दूँ. तो I am here. So मेरा नाम मदिया है. I am a graduate of FJ from 2004 में मैंने graduate किया था, and now I work as a hospitalist in Seattle area, part-time administration, part-time patients mein dekhti hu. We also have our president of this year, FJMCAANA, here. So I will just have her introduce herself briefly.
Thank you very much, Madia. Assalamu alaikum, doctors. I am Dr. Azra Khan. I'm an anesthesiologist in Florida for the past 30 years. And I have been in practice all this time in various hospitals and surgery centers. And I want to thank you for coming on to this forum. And I also congratulate you for your struggles, your successes, your triumphs. And it is all very good. And I remember it clearly like yesterday when I came to America and had to do my boards and had to live without money and borrow money from my relatives and borrow a car and also to prepare for the boards and ask people how it is done. और मेरे husband ने पहले दिन से मुझे मना कर दिया कि जो बच्चा fail हो गया उससे बात नहीं करनी. So he forbade me from talking to a couple of my best friends because they were not successful in their early attempts. तो मुझे आपसे यही कहना है that you are in the right forum. आप सब लोग जो हैं many of you are already successful, or baki log jo hai, they want to learn from you, emulate you, and clearly get guidance from you, and they are very ambitious and hardworking to be here, and so you are already successful in that way. Thank you very much. I'm expecting some guests today. It's a Labor Day, Memorial Day weekend in America, and we have a big barbecue party, so I will be in and out, or maybe out shortly, depending upon if my husband can manage my cooking without me. So anyways, good luck to all of you. And I'm so very proud कि आप सब इस forum पे हैं. You have no idea how happy I am for all these forums to help us be counted, be understood, and be guided. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Azra. And mashallah, the reason we're also hosting this webinar is because last year, I think 16 of our graduates from FJ matched, which was very, very exciting for us. And we hope to build on those numbers moving forward. And then I'm going to introduce, have Dr. Fiza introduce herself. She's past president of FJMCAANA, and she lives in Calgary, Alberta in Canada, and manages our chapter for the North America from there.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much, Dr. Madiha, Dr. Azra. Obviously, this is a moment of great pleasure for all of us to see so many FJ graduates, young students who have joined us today on this forum. And your journey is our pride. My name is Dr. Fiza Rafiq, and I'm also a graduate of Fatma Jinnah Medical University, 1996, and past president of FJMCAANA. And this was our dream that we can connect with our medical students at Fatma Jinnah Medical University and can provide them a platform where we can be their mentors and guide them, and we can also learn at the same time. So, Alhamdulillah, with all the hard work we have done in the past few years, we have tried to make some connections with Fatma Jinnah Medical University. We go there once a year. We do some Pathways to Medicine sessions with them. And we are very, very happy to see lots of students are coming up, asking questions, joining our platform. And at the same time, we have seen very, a number is increasing from Fatma Jinnah Medical University. The students who are coming to North America, and now last year, I think.
Dr. Sundus, can you please mute yourself?
Please mute your phones because this session is being recorded. So we are very happy to see the number of Fatma Jinnah Medical University students is increasing, coming to North America, not only to North America, but other countries as well. And we are very happy to see that last year, 16 graduates got matched into residency program, and some of them have joined us today, and we really congratulate them on their successful journey. So I'm here in Calgary. I'm a family medicine doctor, and I'm a clinical assistant professor with Cummings School of Medicine. And my passion is to teach and provide mentorship to medical students.
Thank you, Dr. Fiza. And again, housekeeping items, guys, please आप अपने आप को mute रखिए क्योंकि ये session record हो रहा है, and we're going to be asking our amazing panelists some questions on their journey from graduation all the way to residency, which inshallah ta'ala is going to be starting this year. So please, everyone, mute yourself. So I would like to introduce our panelists for now. सबसे पहले and if our panelists can kindly come on camera, that would be awesome. Sabse pehle, I would like to introduce Dr. Ismat Aisha. She graduated in 2018, and she has matched in internal medicine at Oregon Health and Science University in Hillsborough. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Aisha.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Our next participant is Dr. Arfa. She graduated in 2019, and she has also matched in internal medicine at the University of Oklahoma Health Sciences program.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Madiha.
And last but not the least, Dr. Irfa is also Dr. Arifa's batchmate. She also graduated in 2019, and she's also matched in internal medicine in Brookdale University Hospital and Medicine program. So thank you for joining us, guys. And I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Fiza, who will start the session.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much, Madiha, for the kind introduction, and so heartwarming to see these beautiful smiling faces on the screen. Congratulations, girls. You made it, and you made all of us proud as well. So today's session is to share your journey of success with all those who are, aspiring higher as well and want to join you and follow your footsteps. So this is why we are here. We want to learn from you. How did you get this, successful job, I would say, and what were the hurdles, and what were the challenges, what were the struggles, and how will you guide your younger students and other graduates who want to come to North America. So we begin with our session because we have a short time. So my first question goes to Dr. Irfa Tariq. How did you prepare for the USMLE exams while balancing other commitments, Irfa?
Thank you, Dr. Fiza. So my journey actually started after graduation, after I was done with my house job. And it obviously was a challenge in a way that a lot of my basic knowledge was not fresh in my mind. And I had to start again from first year, second year, third year subjects. So it's ideal if you start your journey during your med school and ideally in your third year. But after graduation, after completing my house job, I had to start from scratch because I didn't have a mind to do USMLE while I was doing MBBS. So first challenge was to review all the content. So I think it was post-COVID time, so there was less distraction. So this was, like it went into my favor. But other than that, I think ideally speaking, if you start your prep and you divide your day in like 8 + 8 + 8, where you sleep for 8 hours and then you do 8 hours are dedicated to studying, and next 8 hours you can do any activity that you want to do. If you are housewife, you can, do cooking in that time and manage other stuff. And also in that time, if you have any hobbies, you can continue that. But in your dedicated period, which is like mostly 1 to 2 months, in that period, you might have to increase that time, and might change it to 8 hours sleep, 10 hours studying, and then 6 hours for other activities. So I think it's pretty much manageable. And since I didn't have a very fresh knowledge base, so I did it. I gave like 6 months to building that knowledge, and the resources that I used for that were Boards and Beyond videos. That actually really helped me review all the content. My major knowledge source was first aid, but like to completely understand the concepts, I had to see the videos. But Boards and Beyond videos are a bit long. If you see all the videos, it's gonna take a lot of time. And I would advise, initially I started making notes. I would say like you can get the slides anyway, and you by end of the day you don't get time to review all that content. So what I would advise is just quickly listen to the videos, and if you don't have a lot of time, you can watch them on 1.5 speed, and that really worked pretty well for me. And then for the pathology part, for each system, you can do pathoma videos. And pathoma videos cover pretty much everything. And if you are a audio learner like me, the videos really help you have a solid base. And then again, everyone has their own learning style. You can listen to different people, but you might take like 1.5 months to actually understand what works best for you. So after building that base, you can move to UWorld. And again, it varies. Some people use it for knowledge source, and some use it for testing source. If you're like me and you like to, like test yourself, then I would suggest that don't take UWorld for very long period. I think 6 months are mostly more than enough. So 1 to 2 months, by the time you are not done with your first review of first aid and Boards and Beyond, during that time, when you are like about to finish that in first 3-4 months, at that time you can buy UWorld. And then I could complete it in 3 months. And when I used to do the second round, I had some sort of recall bias. So I think it depends. If you feel like doing it again, you can. But for my both steps, I didn't have to do the second round of UWorld. For USMLE step 2, I would suggest um, um, rather than doing one question bank twice, I would say that do multiple question banks. You can use Emboss is very good. So after completing your one round of UWorld, you can buy 1 month subscription for Emboss, and during assessments, during your NBMEs, whichever system you find yourself weak in, for those systems you can practice 1 month on Emboss, and it will really, really boost your score. And I would say, I will highly suggest that track your scores and track your like where you are standing. If you take your NBMEs in like when you are almost done with 70% of basics and UWorld, if you take one assessment at that time, I know it is very hard to like put yourself into an exam which really looks like your own exam. But if you keep the assessments, by end of the day, once like some people have performance anxiety even linked to NBME, the earlier you take it, the less NBME anxiety and obviously the exam anxiety you have. Once you are done with your UWorld and then you move to NBME, if you don't score well, you will have more anxiety. So if you start taking NBMEs earlier, it will help you. It will guide you how much you have to take from UWorld, how much you have to take from first aid, and what you need to revise. For USMLE step 2, I also advise, some of the people say that keep doing UWorld and 2 rounds of that, or maybe like 2 rounds of UWorld, and on top of that you can do Emboss. Because I like to see and learn first, and then I use UWorld as testing source. So I use Boards and Master the Boards review series, and I just used to give like 2 to 3 hours to read the unit before I would jump to the content part, because a lot of step 2 material is from step 1, but there are many things like next best step, actual most accurate test that is not covered in the step 1 content. So reading this unit from master the boards and then moving to the Q bank really helped me assess my performance, so I didn't have to do UWorld twice, and then I could write some of the notes on that book. So revision part was very easier for me, and I think it really helped me do a whole preparation for my step 2 CK exam in 6 to 7 months. And ideally, if you take your step 3 right after that, like in within, you know, like 2 to 3 months, then you won't need anything more than CCS cases and 1 round of UWorld for your USMLE step 3 exam. So this has been my journey, and I was like, I had other dedications. I was by that time I was in US. I had responsibilities at home, but I managed to do my steps within 3 years. And in that time, I did have like 3 to 4 months breaks in Pakistan where I wasn't doing anything. So trust me, if I can do it, any one of you can do it. And right time to start the preparation is now. And wish you all the best for everything that comes next.
Thank you so much, Irfa. I know we are all multitaskers at the same time. Women have been, engraved with this kind of a quality which men lack. So we should be proud of ourselves being all women here. We can do many things at the same time, and Alhamdulillah, this is the quality that makes us successful at the end. So the next question is, any specific study resources or strategies that were particularly helpful for you, Irfa?
Dr. Fiza, I tried to mention all the resources that I use for each of my USMLE steps. And if someone has any specific question, I can address that in the end.
Yeah, so you can also, when you're done answering all the questions, you can chat box. There are some questions, you can start writing the answers in the chat box.
Sure.
So that we can respect the time as well. Any gaps in your CV, and how quickly should one take USMLEs?
Okay, so about how quickly, again, it comes about you comes on to your personal journey. Try to do it, obviously. Try to take it as early as possible. And as I just said, that ideal time is starting now, and minimum time that you need to dedicate for each step is 6 months, and it's pretty much doable in that time. But if you feel like it's taking some toll on your mental health, then take your breaks. But don't stretch your prep too long, because we have like our minds have certain level of capacity. If you get too much tired and you feel like, okay, I can improve my score with like maybe 3-4 points, then I wouldn't say that give another 2 months of exhaustion. Just try to get done with it as soon as possible. But for coming to the point of CV gaps, the way AAMC has now structured the application, in that way you just have to mention. Previously you had like you could share all the experiences, and in that time it was very prominent if you had any gaps in the CV. Now the pattern can actually go in your favor, because you are highlighting your 10 most valuable experiences. In that way it can somehow distract them from the gaps. So even in my case, I did have some gaps. I completed my house job in 2020, and I applied for the last match. So also for the post-COVID period, it's pretty much understandable for them too, because it was very hard to get any clinical rotations in 2021 and early 2022. But other than that, I would say that try, if you are in Pakistan, try to stay active if you are doing house job. And if some people say that there's no benefit of house job, no, if you have worked independently, worked under supervision and done house job, it's considered like an experience, just like your first year of residency. So it just like sort of gives a positive impression of yours. And then if you have gotten the certificate after a house job, even if it is 2 to 3 months, try to work independently, because during your interviews it will really help you, because you will feel confident, and they'll have that confidence will reflect in a way that they will feel more confident about taking you. So first of all, if you can have US clinical experiences, obviously that's a must. But experiences in Pakistan are equally important, and do anything that you can do to increase your chances. And I would say that a few things that I would highlight is that I really if you had like any sort of presence in different societies that work in FJ, you can put that in your so you can I will really appreciate if everyone just mutes their yeah, thank you. So, ideally speaking, you shouldn't have a lot of gaps, but if you have a good solid CV where you have a good volunteer experience, and if you have, you know, any membership or leadership roles that you have played in your student time, even if you are a graduate, don't hesitate to mention those experiences. And in fact, you have to mention three most valuable, meaningful experiences. One of my most meaningful experience was my involvement in debates. So I think anything that you do, if you mention that in a good way, and if you're I would say that nowadays their focus is shifting towards holistic approach and seeing your personality as a whole rather than just grades, and rather than, you know, like how much you have done clinically. So if you have gaps, just try to stay involved when, especially when you're in US. If you get any volunteer, if you get a chance to do any volunteer experience, that doesn't have to be strictly related to being a doctor. Some people have worked as receptionists, and they go to the hospitals, they go door to door, and they ask if they need volunteers. And most of the hospitals in US, they do appreciate volunteer work. And if you have like 1 month or maybe like 20 days volunteer experience, don't hesitate to mention that, even if it is not strictly related to your field. So if you have a diverse and versatile sort of experiences, I think gaps do not matter a lot. And I think Aisha will come to that point, how in interviews you can, you know, move away their attention from the gaps. So you can't change your red flags, but you can work on your strengths and increase some other things that's in your power. And I think something that worked for me was I stayed clinically very much active in the year when I was applying for match. They did a lot of people didn't even get to ask me about the gaps. And I would also suggest, if there are many files available for interview questions that we just came across during the match season. So if you to someone who is entering the match season now, I would highly suggest to go through those interview questions now, so that you know what you need to write in your CV. Because during interview questions, we realized there were few things that we had mentioned in the CV, but there were a few points that were lagging in the CV. So ideally, if you see those questions, you better understand how to structure your CV so that they don't talk much about your gaps and stuff.
Thank you so much, Irfan. This is very important. Your CV has to be written in a way that can reflect yourself, that you can reflect to during your interviews. Because some people, they have their personal statements written very well, and their CVs are full of experiences and everything. But when it comes to interview, they cannot reflect on that. So prepare yourself for interviews in a proper manner. And we will inshallah conduct another session as well on how to write personal statements and CVs as well. And as Ilfa said, don't underestimate anything. Anytime you have, even back home in Pakistan, and you still are applying or thinking, don't waste your time, not only in doing observerships, not only doing your clinical work. If you're planning to come to North America, your volunteer work is counted a lot. It can be in the form of any kind of humanitarian work. It can be in any kind of, tutoring to anyone, or anything you can do volunteer anywhere, like in libraries or in senior homes or anywhere. That will be counted besides your grades and besides your other academic achievement. This is very, very important. Another question, Irfa, that people usually ask, and that anxiety is around this question is, what should be the scores to get into the system?
Yeah. So I think it is a very commonly asked question, especially for someone who is going to start this journey, because we all have our targets in our mind. Obviously, target big. So I would say that keep your, if your target is like 230, you might drop to 220. So
Hold on
it's
a
very,
second.
I think in the beginning, you have to have like a high target in your mind. And
Please,
I think,
everyone, mute your phones. Everyone who is joining, this session is being recorded. Mute your phones. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Fiza. So I would suggest that, when you're about to start your preparation, try to target high 250s. If you can touch 260s, ideally, that's good. But I would say that it is very important. I wouldn't say that it is unnecessary. It is one thing that, like comes into filters and stuff like that. But again, it is not the only thing that determines your chances of matching. So try to get as much score as you can, and I think anything above 230s is fine. If you can hit 250s, ideally, that's a very decent score. If you are lying somewhere in 220s, I think that's okay. Anything below 220s is a red flag. But again, if you had low step one scores, I think nowadays whoever is applying, most of the people have taken their USMLE step one in pass fail. But even if you had your step one taken before that, and now you doubt yourself that, okay, my scores were, I wish I had done it in pass fail. If you improved in your step two, then I think your red flag is now a green flag, because even if you had 240s or 250s in step two, but if you had like your step one score in 210s and then you jump to 241, 242, that's gonna be a big green flag, because they're gonna get attracted to you. They might ask question that, okay, how did you have this score jump? So try to have like sort of growth and sort of improvement overall in your USMLE scores, or at least try to have some consistency. So if you have I would say below average score, try to hit a bigger number for the next step. But even if you are at average, I wouldn't say that you are out of the league and there is no chance. If you better know what your red flags are. A lot of people might not know that, and during the, especially during the match season, once once the invites are getting sent, you might doubt yourself 1,000 times. No matter, even you have like the stellar application, everything is on top of the game, and you might get depressed at some level, because the interview game is like, some people have exactly similar stats as yours, but they might have more connections. So it's a lot of factors that come into play. So don't overemphasize on anything that goes negative in your in like of your overall profile. Try to cover those gaps in some way. So if there is some sort of improvement, if there is some sort of growth, or some, even if you had low step one, step two, and then every step three score, even then, if you involve yourself more in research and stuff like that, you can always cover that gap. So there is no absolute number, but obviously target high. And it again depends on your specialty too. There are few specialties that really emphasize a lot on scores, but like if you're targeting, I wouldn't name the specialties, but I think for you don't have to have plenty of research, or you don't have to have extraordinary scores to match. You just have to have a good overall profile. So try to target max, or whatever, you have to give your 100%. That's it. Whatever is your best, that's the best score. And don't focus a lot on that, and just motivate yourself to do whatever you is in your capacity. And after you are done with it, try to keep improving in the next stages, because there are so many stages that play its part in the overall match process.
Thank you, Irfa. There are some questions coming in the chat box as well. I know people have many questions regarding USMLEs and exams and scores and resources. So considering the time constraints, I would go to our next session of questions that is revolving around observerships. And I will ask each one of the panelists to answer at least one question. So my next question goes to Dr. Arifa. Arpa, would you like to tell us how to decide which observerships to apply for? Because, people are confused. Getting into observerships is not an easy thing. And this is the main thing that people, after passing the first step is obviously to pass the exams. And now people have done the exams, for example, got good scores. And now they are asking for observerships, and we get all the time tons of messages how to get into an observership. So what would be your answer, Arfa?
Thank you, Dr. Fiza, for having me. And that's a very good question. So actually, it's very difficult, like especially from place like from Pakistan, and then not having connections here in US, it's very difficult to get an unpaid observership. To be honest, I would say starting earlier would be a good option. Like if you have started preparing for your step 1 exam, at the same time you have started looking for observerships, because especially some of the observerships here, we have no idea. They're like free observerships. Some of the institutes they are providing, they're taking IMG especially. They are also like training, giving them opportunities for externship, which I came to know later in my journey. So they are even giving externship opportunities, observerships, but there's like a wait time of almost 1 year or 2 year. So that's, I would say one good option would be to start early. Try to start emailing, especially if you have financial constraints, you cannot do paid observerships. So it would be a better option to start emailing. Second option is reaching out to your seniors, and also kind of your like FJMCAANA. We have like see some of the people working here. And then third is emailing to any IMG, like it can be from Pakistan, it can be from India. You have to go to the website of like a hospital or institute where they're allowing IMGs. That's what I did. And then you have to email them and reach out to their coordinators. That's a second option. And the third advice would be try to focus on specialty, whichever you're applying, because if you're applying in internal medicine, but you are doing your observership, or you got an opportunity in radiation oncology or maybe some other field, that will not help you. So I would say the third option is be clear about the specialty you are applying in, and try to target those specialties. Like let's suppose if you are applying in internal medicine, and then you should focus which specialty you are doing. I would say no one would be very clear in the start of the journey, but just having a kind of mindset, and then telling them that you are interested in pursuing and you want to get an experience. So the third option will be specialty focused targets. And then other than that, even seniors can help you. Like that's how I also find, like I had a friend, so I reached out to her, and then she connected with me with someone else. So this is how it works, like reaching out to people. And then and the best advice is understanding the system here. You should know how the system works here, how the people talk, how professional emails look like, how professional communication looks like. That's very important. People do consider those kind of, like if you're just emailing someone and writing like, I want observership, please give me, and the same way you write it in a professional way and tell that you are interested in that field, you already have some experience even back home and you want to shadow that person, that really helps. And so
Yeah, I think that is the way to move forward. Next question again comes to Irfa. How to find folks willing to help with observerships, paid versus non-paid?
Okay, so yeah, so I think I would say that obviously, if you have good connections, use them. If you know people from, from your college, the graduates, or anyone who is doing residency, and or anyone who is living in US, try to build your connections from there. But other than that, I think to get, like observerships in big universities, as I think Arfa would have mentioned, sending them emails, even in like big tier universities. If you send emails early on, and if let's say you're studying for step 2, and you know that you are going to travel after 6-7 months, so by the time you're planning for your visa and stuff, at that time start writing emails. And a lot of universities, they apply. Yes, you need to write almost 1,000 emails to like be at a point that, oh, okay, nobody's applying. You can't send just 40-50 emails and then be like, oh, nobody responds. They do respond, but you have to do plenty of emails. And I think one other good way that I would suggest is to try to find on LinkedIn any administrators or any coordinators of certain, let's say you are interested in certain specialty, and certain like some people prefer to stay in a state where they have people who are already living, or they have their relatives over there. If you prefer to stay in that zone, try to look for the best university in that area, and then look for coordinators. Usually coordinators reply and respond to your emails, because a lot of attendings are very busy. And once you are in US, I think going door to door, and even like I had to sometimes call a clinic. Once they would have approved, and they would sometimes just ghost you, so you might have to call the clinic many times. And I think once you are in US, it gets very easier to like keep trying at different places. But like in the beginning, yes, as your class fellows, as your seniors, or anyone there, you don't need to know someone like very well to know to help you with observership. Sometimes some people really don't know you at all. You send them email and they are pretty helpful. And then I think even one good university LOR is more than enough. Other than that, try to target for programs that take IMGs. And for that, yes, that's a struggle, because a lot of those programs don't allow observerships. But again, you don't have to have certain type of rotations to match. Whatever you're getting, try to make the best out of it. The way you present your learning objectives from that rotation is what makes it a good rotation or a bad rotation. Some people go to universities and like they couldn't engage well, and they couldn't get a good LOR from there. But like if you if you try to build good connection, especially if you have directly got your observership approved, those people are going to take you more seriously. So I think don't hesitate to go from one hospital to other. Most of the time coordinators are usually helpful, and they are even more helpful than people that you might know.
Yeah, it seems like it's a lot of work, but if you can organize yourself, you can make a list of all those universities where you're going to apply, and you can pre-write few emails, and you can just keep on sending. As I first said, like just writing 40 emails is not enough. You have to keep on sending your emails all the time. So pre-write certain, scenarios, and so that you can just copy paste and keep forwarding those messages to different universities. And you should have a list of all those universities where you're going to apply, especially those universities who are taking IMGs. So that can be a tip for that. I see Dr. Ismate Aisha sitting very quietly with a smiling face. Your turn is coming up now. So the next question comes to you, Aisha, regarding these observerships. What are the things or background checks needed for observerships?
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for having me. And to answer your question, every hospital has their own guidelines, what they look for as a background check. So in general speaking, since they do want you to have your immunization record ready, like basic immunization like MMR, Tdap, Hep B vaccines, and some programs would also want to do a tuberculosis test once you arrive on site. One of the programs also wanted to do a drug test for me, so that's another thing. And one hospital that I rotated with, they also wanted me to have an insurance ready, a malpractice insurance, just for the shadowing. So these are a few things, and it depends on which hospital you are applying to. So once you have observership in your hand, they send you a detail of all the immunization that you need, or any documents that you need, and you can go from there. And I also want to add something in the previous point. Once you are in the United States and you have one observership with you, and you're looking for more observership, and you are in United States and have time, one thing that really helped me secure more observership was to go door to door to clinics where I live. So I went to at least 10 to 12 different clinics, and in old school style, I would leave my CV in printed form to their receptionist, or because in clinic, it's easier to get hands on the doctor. In hospital, you can't easily approach a doctor, but in clinic, it's easier. So what I would do, I would leave my CV, and my contact information is on my CV, and I will tell them I'm really interested. I live here, and I would love to have an opportunity with that. And out of those 10 people, 2 people invited me, and they let me rotate with them, and not even to their clinic. Once I built a good rapport with them, they invited me to their inpatient hospital as well. So once you are in state, it gets easier. I never went through the process of applying for observership from Pakistan because I was living here already. So once you are here, it gets easier, and I can help anybody with any more questions regarding that if they have any after this session, because the time is really little.
Thank you so much, Aisha. And regarding this, networking is very important. Stay connected with all those people who have gone through these processes. Like, we get tons of messages from IMGs all the time, and some of them are so persistent that you cannot say no to them. Ultimately, you say, okay, I have to help this one because she keeps on sending me messages all the time. Not only to me, he will send it to messages to Madiha, Dr. Azra. Then we are talking, oh, I also got this message from this. So it shows that, how passionate you are to get
Yeah,
into.
you don't. One tip is that you don't have to approach only IMG doctors like Pakistani and Indians. You can approach any doctor, like my preceptors were not Desi. So it's because where I live, there are so less IMGs already. So you can't limit yourself to just Pakistani doctors. If you are professional and approach with a decent and professional way, anybody would love to have you, and they see talent and they let you rotate with them. So don't be shy.
What happens is, like, if I cannot help you, I might have connection with somebody else, and I would like to connect you with somebody else. So this is how it works with connections, right? So alhamdulillah, on this screen, I see 37 people now who are connected with each other now. And I'm sure we all will help each other, inshallah. And we will, if I cannot help, I would try to connect with somebody who can help. That's how it works. So the question comes for research, and Arfa, I'm going to ask you this question, and I'm going to combine this question. Is research important or observership? And how to find folks for research?
Oh yeah, that's a good question, Dr. Fiza. So I also wanted to add on to Aisha's answer, as she mentioned. And the same way, one of my observership I secured was actually I shadowed one of my preceptor, and then at the end of rotation, I requested her that if she can connect me with someone else, and then she did it. So it basically also depends upon your performance, how you build your relationship with your um perceptor or whatever you already have in hand, how you're going to take advantage of that. So yeah, moving to my next the question you just asked. So I would say research it was not that important a few years back, but now I would say it's very important in terms of like when I started my journey, like a lot of the people or folks I talked to with, they were like, if you want to target a university hospital, research is important, but you can get a residency spot even in community hospitals without research. But that, I would say, that's not a scenario now. Like I had some interviews in community hospitals, and the reason they were interested in my CV was because of research. So I would say research is also as equally important as observerships are. So one, like the honest advice is nothing can guarantee you a match, but I would say everything can add on to your CV and can improve your chances. So observership, having good 3 US LORs, and then along with that having good 2 to 3 publications, and that's like a good thing in your CV. And beside that, you can add on with other stuff. So for research, I really struggled with that part. So actually, I after giving like after the doing my after done with my step 2 exam, I started looking for research opportunities, because that was actually the period when I was planning to also apply for my for match. That was basically the 2022 start time. So I was also planning for apply to apply for my med cycle. Along with that, I was looking for research. So the same way as I did for observership, I started emailing people who had publications. I went to LinkedIn, I reached out to them. Similarly, to other social media platforms like Facebook, like Twitter, I reached out to them. But unfortunately, like I would say I emailed like in some 800, 900, I sent 900 emails, but only few people, like 2 to 3 reply I got. So I would say it's like not so the one tip for research is also start early, like if you're planning your steps journey and you want to pursue residency here, you have to make a strategy from the start. You have to plan your observerships, you have to plan your research, you have to plan your exams. It's not like you will do first one thing at one spot and then you move on to next. That was kind of an approach people used to do few years back, but I would say it's not now. Now that's not a right approach. So one thing is through social media, and similarly, like if someone gave you an opportunity, try to put on your best. That's what happened with me when I started working with a mentor remotely, and I worked with him for like 4 to 5 months, and then he actually gave me an opportunity to work with him in person here in US. So that's how you build connections, and you become a reliable and trustful person for others, just because of your hard work and your reliability and persistence.
Exactly. So now I think we have talked about the prerequisites to apply into residency programs, which includes, first of all, your intention to write the exams. And when you make an intention, a strong intention, then you see, okay, what can be the prerequisites, how to do this. So exams are done now, you got the good scores, you have done the observerships, you got a chance to get into research. So then now it comes to applying for residency. So Arfa, how did you decide which programs to apply?
Oh yeah, that's also a good question. So I would say, especially like applying from Pakistan, uh, like if we compare the currency of US and then a Pakistani currency, you have to be very, very uh, you have to know which programs you're targeting, and then depending upon your CV, how many years you have passed by from your graduation, what kind of programs you are targeting. These are very important questions for deciding the number of programs. So how I did that was I went through all the websites, keeping in mind my year of graduation, kind of CV I had, and also the number of or the chances of being an IMG, the chances of matching in those programs. So these are very important, because similarly you don't want to waste your money, but at the same time you don't want to decrease your chances of matching by missing out on some programs. So I would say giving a plenty amount of time to that part is also very important. So especially for those people who are applying in the current cycle, it's very important to plan your application process as well. You have to start early, you have to start working on your PS, also similarly on your LORs, but at the same time you have to target your programs and you have to make a list, because some of the program has very hard filter. Like if you have 3 or 4 years since your graduation, but they have a filter of 2 years, so that's just waste of money in applying those programs. But some do have kind of a flexible filter. They do consider some applications depending upon your rest of your CV. But I would say giving plenty amount of time, and then going to the website of the programs, checking on their uh, eligibility criterias. And there are also some other websites which do provide you like residency explorers, and they're the website, but they are paid as well. So so I would say planning them beforehand and then spending, of course, efforts and time would be a good idea.
Yeah, and how many programs should one apply for?
That also depends on your CV. So like if your year graduation is kind of 4 years, 5 years, then you have like few programs to target on. Because and then similarly, if you are within 2 years of graduation, within 3 years, you should target more programs depending upon their filter. So I would say around 150 to 200 would be a safe range, but that also depends on your CV and also the number of specialties you're applying. Like some of the people do target family medicine as well as internal medicine. Some people do apply in peds as well. So you have to keep a balance, and for that you need a time and strategy. And also, I would say talk to people, reach out to them, try to build a good relationship, try to find some good mentors. That really helps, because no one can be perfect in him or herself. Like you have to take help, you have to reach out to people to discuss what problems do you have, or in which part do you need help. So I would say that would be a good idea, to reaching out to a mentor, especially like if you're applying in internal medicine, you can reach out to a person who already applied in last year or in last 2 years. And then similarly, if you are like interested in oncology, you should reach out to that mentor to help you in research. So these are kind of, I would say, understanding the system and making a plan for each thing, and then reaching out to people, building relationships would really help.
Excellent, excellent. So, Aisha, next question is to you. Any tips for writing a standout personal statement?
Okay, so for those people who don't know what a personal statement is, it's like a one-page length document that we attach with our ERA CV. And without this personal statement, your application is incomplete. So in general speaking sense, there are 4 questions that you should answer in your statement. The first being that why you chose medicine as a profession, second being why you chose this specialty, and third being why you are applying to this particular program, and finally, what are your future goals. And for me, I took this statement as a reflection on my personality and how my goals and my life story and my future goals align with the goals of the program that I'm applying to. So what I did differently to have a to stand out through my personal statement was to customize it. As Arifa mentioned, you have to start early. Everything depends on time. Time is your friend if you make it your friend. So I would say your first draft of personal statement should be ready by end of June or start of July. And when you are writing your first draft, keep a sketch in your mind about your personality and why you chose medicine, and try to answer all these 4 questions and write it down in a paper. Once you have done it by start of July, you can go online and review other personal statements, and you can ask and reach out to your seniors to share their personal statement that helped them match. So I would not recommend you to read personal statements before writing your first draft, because in a natural sense, you want to keep the essence of yourself and your original thoughts in your personal statement. So that's why I want you to write the first draft before reading other personal statements. And once you have done that, then you can refine it and improve it, compare, contrast, and definitely you will be going through multiple revisions of your personal statement before submitting it. So you have plenty of time for revisions if you start early. And second thing that I did was I made it customized. When I'm answering the question, why this program, I already knew which programs I'm going to target, which are my top 5 priority programs. And I went through their websites inside and out. I knew every single detail about the program that is my top priority. Everything is on their website. You can see what kind of residents they're looking for, what is the environment of the program, what is the location, and what is the patient preference even. So when you know all these details, you can find a connection between you and your personality and the program and their environment. So finding that link is very important, and you can customize your personal statement. For your information, you can upload more than one personal statement. So you can only send one statement to one program, but you can upload more than one. So customize it. I know many people don't have enough time, so they only write one personal statement and send it to all the programs. It just loses the essence. You want to customize it so when a reader is reading, they know that you are really interested. So use your time wisely, and I would say at least customize your statement for at least 3 of your top choice programs. And my last tip would be to get it reviewed. Get it reviewed by multiple people. You want to get opinion and feedback of your seniors. And by seniors, I mean third-year resident or above that level, who have seen enough cycles of personal statements, and they can give a good feedback how it's being perceived. So that's just another tip for writing a standard personal statement.
Thank you. Great tips. And we would also like to learn from you the tips for preparing for interviews.
So again, time is everything. When you schedule your interviews, I would suggest you to schedule it in late November or December, Jan, Feb. It gives you enough time for October and November, and during this time you can have enough practice, because practice is everything for your interviews. Another tip would be that I personally used was to have two set of people to practice with. So one set of people were my constant people that I would practice with, one friend maybe or two friend. I would practice every other day or every 4 days with the same person throughout the season. That helped me, to keep in practice and to help refine my answers to common questions, and just to have different sets of thoughts, how my answers are being perceived. And the second set of people were those that I would practice just before my interview is scheduled. For example, if my interview is on 28th of the month, I would schedule a mock interview on 26th or 27th with a new person, a person that I don't know. And you can find those people in WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups, on Reddit. And then that mock interview is just like your real interview. You have a new face, so it helps you with the anxiety of the new person that you're gonna get in the main interview. And they can give you a brutal and honest feedback at what areas you need to improve, because they don't know you. They can be honest with you without caring about your feelings. So this is just a small tip that I want to mention, to keep two sets of people that you want to practice throughout your season. And social media is your friend. Go online, watch YouTube videos of media videos and other videos, and just see what they're doing, and get ideas from there. I think the most important thing to remember is that you're not sitting in a viva. It's not going to be a viva. They're not going to judge you on your mental knowledge. They're not testing your knowledge. So keep the sense of yourself, be yourself in interviews, keep a conversation going, and be ready for spontaneous questions, because there are few questions that are commonly asked, but there are going to be questions which are on spot, and those on spot questions will always have a follow-up question. So only say those things that you actually believe in and that actually are true to yourself. For example, you can't mention that you read books when you only have read 2 books in your life. So because they're gonna ask you follow-up questions to that thing. One of my interviewers asked me what is my favorite song, and after I told him what is my favorite song, he asked me to translate it in English and tell me the meaning of the song. So I could only do that if it is actually my true song. I can't like try to over impress by saying big words and not know how to answer the follow-up question. So I want you to be like, keep it like a conversation, not a viva, and don't try to over impress anything. Just stay and be yourself.
यार आप लोगों की बातें सुन के लग रहा है कि आप लोगों ने सिर्फ यही काम किया, कोई और काम भी किया कि नहीं?
हमने
बिल्कुल,
बच्चे
मुझे
में तो
भी
24 घंटों में से 36 घंटे यही काम किया है।
यही काम किया, 7 बच्चा भी संभाला है, which is like
अल्लाह
now
वो
24
wow.
old.
खाने भी
Mimi,
बनाए
hats
हैं,
off to you
भी
guys.
चाहिए। तो जो लोग सुन रहे हैं, please don't get overwhelmed. Yes, these girls
Yeah,
are
I
superstars.
know it's a lot of information. It's one step at a time, and this is the biggest tip. Be prepared. Like start early in the
Yes.
season. Right now, June.
Planning is important, time commitment is important, and at the same time, you should remember you're a daughter, you're a wife, you're a mother, and you have
Yeah.
many responsibilities. And as I said, we are multitaskers, alhamdulillah, and we can manage so many things. You're doing observerships, you're writing applications, sending emails, checking your baby's diaper, feeding him, taking him out for walk, cooking and cleaning and everything. But
I know.
your priority stays on top, that yes, I have to do it, and this is how you do it. So I salute all of you for your resilience and your hard work. Mashallah, mashallah. So the next question is, now the observerships are done, residency is being applied, you're applying for residency. So the next question is, apply for visa. Who is going to answer this question? Any tips on securing US visa? Arfa,
I think Arpa can answer better.
you can answer this? Yes, okay.
Oh yeah, sure. I can go ahead. So I would say for visa, like it's similarly it's unpredictable. Like it basically depends upon the planning as well. Like I applied my US visa, and the reason was actually my step 3 exam. So because during that time, a lot of people got rejections based on observerships. So my planning was that I just wanted more in one go. So that's what I planned was I only prepare like for my step 3 I only dedicated 2 months, and in those months I studied, sometimes was doing research, I also planning observership, a lot of stuff. But I would say planning it early and then having a valid reason is very important. I have seen people getting approvals based on observerships, but that's basically a university letter or a kind of a strong letter to because you need to justify your reason that why you are traveling to US. So I would say first of all go for step 3. If not, then you can get a like apply based on having a strong observership letter or opportunity. That's the second reason. Third one is which I have seen like in the current years for other graduates, especially from KE or Dow or other, they are also applying on the basis of research. Like they are coming here on J1, they're doing unpaid research. At the same time, they are also doing rotations. So that's also another option, but we need to um, see, and we need to have to figure out all that. But at the same way for those, like if you're coming here for observership, you have to email, you have to find an opportunity. Most of the time the people apply on the basis of observership are basically paid observerships, having a university letter and then applying on that basis. Few tips I would say will be uh, giving a proof that you will come back to your home country, or like having a family there, or maybe if you have a job, you can show kind of a government job or something like that. You can just show that papers that you can come back. Showing a strong ties to your home country would help. Then having a strong reason to coming to US would help. And then at the same way, that's kind of 2 tips I would say.
Okay. Okay. So I think we are running short of time. Just a quick answer from you, Aisha. Describe your experience with residency match process and any helpful tips on successful match.
Yes, so as you can see, it was overwhelming and I felt miserable most of the time. But again, you need to have like a good support system to go through this process. It's brutal. But always remember that everybody's journey is different from yours. For example, for me, I got most of my interviews in October. And I know it was like good for me, but when other people were looking at me, they were like, okay, she's getting interviews and we are not. But after October, November, December, January, silence for me, and other people were getting interviews and none for me. So don't, like, I know it's very hard to not compare yourself with other peers, but you need to remember that what Allah has written for you will be yours one way or the other. Just remember that and do your best and hope for the best. This is the best tip I can give. Some other tips that I think helped me in securing a match was to do volunteer work. I did volunteering not just in my medical school, but even after that, when I was out of med school. I was working as a medical scribe. And then I was also managing a social media page for an or animal right organization for over a year. At that time, I did not knew that it will help me in residency, but it actually did. So right now, everybody's doing observership, everybody's writing research paper. So you need to have something on your CV that will cover your gap. If not cover your gap, at least compensate for it. To have something different, I think volunteering is a very good option. It does not demand a lot of your time. You can sign up for once a month or maybe twice a month. But having that thing on your CV really helps you shine as compared to other people. At least for me, it helped me. And another tip would be to use your signals very wisely. So time is everything. Start early. Start filtering the programs that you're going to apply. Know what their criterias are, what they're looking for, and what kind of residents they already have in their program. And by knowing that thing, you can compare yourself there. Where do you stand? And in internal medicine, you only get 7 signals. So use your signals wisely, and your geographical preference, your signals, they should align. And I believe I used them wisely, and I got 4 out of 7 signal programs sent me interviews. So using your signals is very crucial, and know the programs that you are targeting. Um, and signed letter of intent. That comes late in the season, but you don't want to send letter of intent to every program that you know. That just loses its sense. You need to have a customized letter of intent to the programs only that you are applying. It saves your energy as well. And just have a clear idea, as Arifa said, that you should know what you're doing and what you are aiming for. So have a preference of programs on the basis of your geographical preference, or maybe because you have somebody in the program that you know, or just because you like this program. Just know your preference and try to target programs. At least you should know 1 to 10 programs that you are really targeting and you want to apply there or end up being in those programs. Just a few tips.
Excellent. I think we have answered all the questions what we have so far. Any last minute advice or tips for our aspiring students? I know many are listening on this forum, and we will be sharing the video, recorded video with everyone later on. There are always many questions from the aspiring students. You guys are role models now, mashallah. You have given lots of inspiration to our youngsters here. You inspired me as well, and I'm sure Dr. Azra and Dr. Madhiya are also very happy to see you all shining here. So, any last tips for our aspiring students? Just in 1 or 2 lines, I would ask Irfa, you're quiet for a while. From you first. Yes, you're raising your hand as well.
Yeah, so one thing that I would like to mention is that for research, try if you can ideally get some spot, that's well and good, that's ideal. But if you can't get, and if you don't get even any resident to work with you on some research projects, what you can do is, like find some interesting topic, do some meta-analysis or systematic review on your own, and you can get it published in Curious or some other papers that easily take different papers. So what I'm trying to say is that you don't have to be linked to a specific person to publish your papers. And you sometimes ideally, if you can achieve a position, that's great. But if you can't, you can do work on your own too, and you can do systematic reviews on your own. And I think that was one thing that I wanted to say.
Thank you. Arfa?
Yeah. So I would say for all of those who are like just planning to start their journey or who are interested in, the few tips I would have for them is do your best. And I can say when I was in med school, I always used to think that those people do USMLE or go to US who have no financial issues, who have a family in US or something like that. But I was a totally different person. I don't have any family in US. I would say I actually earned myself for my exams. Like I was doing a job. I collected all my house job pays, and then I paid for my step 1 for my UWorld. So I would say nothing can stop you if you have dreams of doing something. Especially similarly from my family background, I would say they were even reluctant to allow me to do my med school even in Lahore. Like I am from Balochistan. So it was there are a lot of challenges in my journey, and I can never think of where I am now. So I would say working hard, having a dream, and then persistently working hard. Like people do work hard, but persistently doing it, especially in difficult situations when you don't see a way, that's very challenging. But that do pay off. So I would say don't.
Kadam rahe aur kadam jamaye rakhein, right?
Just be persistent, yeah, and reach out to
Aisha.
people. Don't take personal if someone doesn't reply. Don't feel bad that someone is not helping you or something like that. Just reach out to multiple people. You will find ways, and you will find nice people as well. So that's what my experience is.
Thank you, Arfa. Aisha?
I think I already gave all of my tips in
Okay. Okay.
I gave all the information already. So good luck, everyone, and reach out to me if you need any help. I'll be more than happy to help you.
Yeah, this is what we wanted to hear. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Azra, you want to say a few words? Yes.
No, thank you very much. I'm quite happy and surprised कि आप सब लोगों में बड़े perceptive हैं, and you're very advanced in your understanding of American examination system and the methodology and all that is needed, because it's a very long process. You like Steve Jobs said, you can't connect the dots looking forward कि ये steps होंगे life में. You can only connect them when you look backwards. And you have already been able to connect so many dots for people who are coming on to this journey. So ये तो बड़े अच्छे milestones हैं. And I'm sure everybody who is listening in or will listen to the webinar later on, you'll make your notes. And these are extremely important points that these young doctors have brought up and guided you through. And you are very lucky to have this connection, because I believe all your questions have been answered. And the single most thing I will say is that you have to stay very persistent. In spite of all the odds, you have to stay persistent. And that's it. You never, ever lose heart, never, ever give up. चाहे fail हो जाए, चाहे residency ना मिले, क्योंकि it's a tough ride. It's a very competitive system. मगर आपने ज़्यादा काम तो कर लिया, आप medical school से graduate हो गए. So it's a huge plus already. 2-3 साल इस चीज चक्कर में लगेंगे आपको. That's okay. You know, it's all fun. Looking back, it seems the 40 years since my graduation, लगता है कुछ भी नहीं किया. Like already it's almost over for me. Next year I'll be able to collect my social security. But I'm like, I mean, I barely understood the whole system. I barely can practice it, and I can teach. Maybe I'll go and teach in a med school in America or something. Because if you're so on this thing and constantly working, that like a hamster, you're just going. You can't stop. That's your way of life now. It is our lifestyle. Fiza, Madhya, आप सब लोग इसलिए कि और क्या करें, और किसने कहा अभी कि 8-8 घंटे की सेगमेंट है. Yes, I sleep for 8 hours. And मेरा बेटा अभी डॉक्टर बना, उसने खत्म किया रेजिडेंसी, कल ग्रेजुएट किया तैमूर खान एनेस्थीसिया रेजिडेंसी, और आज वो बोर हो गया बिल्कुल. कहाँ तो वो सुबह 6 बजे पहुंच जाता था हॉस्पिटल, हम सब एनेस्थीसियोलॉजिस्ट की तरह, और इतना काम कर रहा था कि मॉम देयर इज नथिंग टू डू. मैंने कहा चलो ठीक है, बैठ अपने बोर्ड्स के लिए पढ़ो, वो नहीं करना, वीडियो गेम्स खेलने. So that's okay. The point is, we have so much brain, we have so much training, we have so much knowledge. आप लोग तो इतने lucky हैं that you are there already. और ये American exams तो कुछ भी नहीं है. I think I really enjoyed studying for my boards. It all came back together with the more mature understanding. जबकि सर में already इतना data collect कर लिया आपने, anatomy, physiology और ये वो, you know, बड़ा amorphous होता है while you're in med school, और भूल भी जाते हैं first years. And I did it 6 years after my work in Pakistan. So both time ke baad I went back to the books. And I think that was the best thing that happens to you. You redo the whole thing, or bada wide or deep exam, American exams. And then going through the residency. Good luck with everything. And thank you so much. I'm really, truly very proud of you all. And you are the best that the society has. Doctor hona bahut badi baat hoti hai. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Azra. So I just want to share just like few CAN-Med roles to everyone. Being a doctor is number one. You have achieved that. But what we need to see here in North America is your professionalism. You're a good communicator. You're a good collaborator. You're a good leader. You're a health advocate. At the same time, you're a scholar. तो ये सारे जब आपके अंदर ये चीज़ें इकट्ठी होती हैं, that reflects in your CV, in your personal statement. Outside of medicine, you can be a good communicator anywhere. कोई sports team हो सकती है, वहाँ पे leadership हो सकती है, debates का जैसे इरफान ने बताया. Extra curricular are very important besides being a doctor. I know पाकिस्तान में हम ज़्यादा focus सिर्फ academics पे कर रहे होते हैं. यहाँ पे हम आपको एक overall personality के तौर पे देखते हैं. जो लोग अभी से प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं, आपके अंदर अल्लाह ने बहुत से टैलेंट्स रखे हुए हैं besides being a doctor. So explore your talents. आपका कोई भी टैलेंट हो सकता है. It could be a cooking thing that you like to cook, and you can have your own page or something on social media where you're giving somebody some tips, right, on cooking. कुछ भी जो आपको अच्छा लगता है, because we are seeing that you are a good collaborator, good communicator, good leader. good scholar and a professional person at the same time, and health advocate as well. आप कोई अपना health channel बना सकते हैं जहाँ पे आप advice दे सकते हैं on small little things. So there can be so many things you can explore besides doing all your academics to improve your CV and your personal statement and your interviews. म्यूजिक हो सकता है, कुछ भी हो सकता है, राइट, इट कैन बी एनीथिंग. और एट द एंड जैसे सबने कहा कि साबित कदमी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. लविंग योर प्रोफेशन इज वन थिंग, दैट आई थिंक वी ऑल लव बीइंग अ डॉक्टर. उससे ये नहीं होता कि जैसे व्हेन आई केम माय हस्बैंड वाज वर्किंग एंड ही सेड यू डोंट नीड टू वर्क, आई मीन व्हाई यू हैव टू वर्क. आई सेड आई हैव टू वर्क बिकॉज आई नीड टू वर्क, बिकॉज दिस इज व्हाट आई always wanted to do and I want to work. So ये नहीं है कि आपको सिर्फ पैसा तो कहीं से भी आ सकता है, you can earn, but main thing is your passion, what you want to do. So these are the things from me. I really congratulate each and everyone who has started this journey already and who have been successful and who are providing mentorship. We are all part of a loop. We are all graduates of Fatma Jinnah Medical University, which is a great bond. Stay connected and help each other, and this is the way inshallah we are going to rise and shine. And I would ask Madiha to conclude the session now. Thank you, Madiha.
Gee, thank you everyone for joining. Thank you to our wonderful panelists for taking time out and helping answer these questions. And inshallah, हम लोगों का WhatsApp group बना हुआ है IMGs का, so you guys can message there. तो हम सारे उस पे हैं, and I personally monitor that, so we can help you get connected and also help answer any questions that you guys may have. ठीक है? Thank you everyone. Jazakallah, and good luck to our newer students and graduates who are going to be starting on this journey. Thank you.
Thank you and best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Good luck.